Hello, I'm Will, this is Mike, we're the Tabletop Donkeys.
Hello.
And in this video we're looking at issue 31 of Warhammer Age of Sigmar Stormbringer magazine, which came with 5 Vigilor models for the Stormcast Collection. As usual, we'll have a look through the magazine and then get into our battle report where we'll be seeing what they can do on the battlefield. First of all, in the magazine we have some background on the Seraphon, a race of strange reptilian creatures formed from magic of the powerful Slann. These are staunch opponents of chaos, and even though they can seem cold and aloof and inscrutable to the average inhabitant of the mortal realms, they fight with unceasing fervour to purge the forces of chaos from the mortal realms, and they move around in strange flying temple ships and strike from the realm of heavens with great force. And there are several kinds of creatures. The Slann, as I mentioned, are the strange, giant frog-like creatures, extremely powerful wizards, all of them ancient, thought to even predate the mortal realms themselves, and they follow the plans of the mysterious Old Ones. The Saurus are the kind of soldiers of the Seraphon, being strong and tough and particularly vicious, whereas the Skinks are smaller and more intelligent, so they tend to be more sort of priests and skirmishers and things like that. And there are also various much larger creatures like Stegodons and Bastiladons, some of which mount arcane technological creations on their backs that channel powerful energies. Now we learn about the Dawnbringer Crusades. So while obviously in the dawn of the Age of Sigmar various cities of Sigmar were established, large parts of the mortal realms still remain essentially uninhabitable, taken over by the forces of chaos. The Dawnbringer Crusades are an effort to change that by launching expeditions into enemy territory to found new settlements and drive back the forces of darkness. The next page is just a bit about the various challenges faced by these expeditions in some of the various realms. Now we learn about the Forges of Creation, which are a network of magical forges in Aesir around something called Malus, which is a sort of big burning comet-like thing thought to be the core of a previous world. And this is where the Stormcast Eternals and their weapons and equipment are created. These were all created by mysterious demigod-like beings called the Six Smiths that serve Sigmar and Grungni. It explains that when a Stormcast is killed, his soul goes back to Aesir and is reforged anew, ready to return to fight again. And the Stormcast Eternals can emerge subtly changed, such as slight change in personality or even becoming more magical beings, wreathed in lightning or similar things like that. We have the battle record for the Vigilors. These are scouts and ranged support units for the Stormcast Eternals, so slightly more lightly armoured and equipped with ranged weaponry. They fire lightning enchanted arrows. So as usual, there are some tables you can roll on to give them a backstory and record some of their deeds. And then their build guide. They are multi-part kits, so you will need glue for this. And there are quite a lot of parts, but they all go together fairly straightforwardly if you follow the guides carefully. There are parts to make a Vigilor Prime, the unit leader. It also recommends being very careful when assembling them not to put any pressure on the bowstrings because they're quite thin. And there's the magazine's recommended builds. Although it does note you will have a lot of extra parts because there are in fact several poses, because there are in fact alternate poses for all of the models that you could build instead if you want to, but they give you the instructions to make them like this in this one. They also each have the choice of a helmet or a bear head. And then their painting guide is the same as all the Stormcast we've seen so before, with an undercoat of gold and then black, white, blue. That makes up the majority of the models. And then brown and lead belcher, that covers the majority of the models. Also some wraithbone, there's one of them holding a map, and also for the faces, which will be painted flesh coloured later. And then with a few extra details like some red, and then with a few extra details like some red for the Prime's plume. They are completed to the standard you see there. But that's it for the contents of this issue, so I'll hand you over to Mike now, who will have a look at their war scroll and get into our game.
So no new core rules to go through, so we're straight to the war scroll for our new Vigilors. So they have a movement of 6, 2 wounds, a 4+ save and 7 bravery, so a little bit faster than the other Stormcast units, but not quite as durable. 2 attacks with their Stormcaller bows, which have an 18-inch range, hitting and wounding on 3s, minus 1 damage. And then they have their Stormblades, which are basically the same, but only have a 1-inch range because they're melee weapons. The champion gets an extra shot with his bow, and then you have one special rule, which is Navigators of the Storm. So in the shooting phase, if any wounds are caused by attacks from their Stormcaller bows to an enemy unit, then other Stormcast units get to add 1 to hit rolls for attacks that target that unit for the rest of the turn. And the same unit cannot be affected by this ability more than once per turn, so if you have multiple units of Vigilors, you can't stack that ability. Other noteworthy keywords is that they have the Thunderstrike keyword, so they interact with the Knight Arcanum's spell. And here's a tutorial for Navigators of the Storm, so it's fairly self-explanatory. You probably want to choose the Vigilors to shoot first, and then shoot them at key enemy units. Even if they don't do too much damage, they'll make it much easier for your other units to fight. And do remember it lasts for the whole turn, so that +1 to hit applies in the fight phase as well. And in the background of today's game, Into the Maw, so we're taking a pause on the fighting in Ghur, going back to Ghur, the realm of beasts, where both sides are fighting over a ley line of great bestial power. And though the forces of order are trying to either reduce this bestial power and use it for something more helpful, or infuse it into their warriors to help them fight the orcs, whereas the forces of destruction just want to make this magic even wilder and more destructive and stop any pesky Sigmarites settling the place again. So for the forces of order, we have the Knight Arcanum, the Lord Imperator, the Stormstrike Chariot, our new Vigilors, the 6 Gryph-hounds, the 5 Vindictors and the 4 Praetors. And then the forces of destruction are the Killer Boss with Stabgrot, the Swampcrawler Shaman with Popgrot, 10 Gut Rippers, both units of 10 Hobgrot Slitters, and the Marshcrawler Sloggoth. So we have our battle map set out, order territory in the top left and destruction territory in the bottom right, and we have 4 objectives basically in the centre of each quadrant. And then the middle of the board vertically is called the Maw line. That's used for our special rule, which I'll get into in a minute. So deployment happens as usual. In fact, we actually deploy before placing the objective markers and the terrain. We'll be using the primal lair terrain. We cannot place any of the terrain on the Maw line. And we're using victory points again. The player with the most points at the end of the 5th battle round wins. You score victory points. You get 1 for holding at least 1 objective, 1 for holding 2 objectives, and 1 for holding more than your opponent. And then the Maw line. So at the end of each battle round, we roll a dice and add the battle round number. We'll add the number of the current battle round, and on a 7 or more, the Maw crunches down upon the battlefield, and any models standing on the Maw line are immediately slain. Here we are, board set up and deployed. You can see our 4 objectives. We've got number 1 in the top left, then 2 in the top right, 3 in the bottom left, 4 in the bottom right. We go with my deployment first, so I've got a unit of Hobgrot to my left. That's the new one. We realised we've fallen a bit behind with the naming, so this is Rognor's Nasty Gits, and there's Morlek the Killer Boss with Knee Biter Chariot Killer, and then there's the Swamp Lurker, the Sloggoth, Murkai Storm Chasers, the Gut Rippers with Gomrog the Great and Stewgate behind them, and then Rax Bane Slitters, the other unit of Hobgrots on the right. And here we have the Stormcast deployment.
So from the left, we've got the Gryph-hounds, and again we didn't name them last issue, so this is Keen-Eyed Hunters, they're called. And we've got Sarah Demonbane and the Stormbringers, the Praetor unit. Helio Hammerfist, the Lord Imperator in the centre. Our new unit of Vigilors, this is Talon's Pathfinders. Next to them is Berea Starfang, the Knight Arcanum, Lyria's Guardians, the Vindictors, and on the far right is Stormstrike Chariot, the Cleansing Line.
Also, before we roll off, the Killer Boss will be my general,
and the Lord Imperator will be mine.
So rolling off for the first battle round.
Oh, it's a draw.
And I finished deploying first, so I think I will... You know what, I'll make the Stormcast go first. And my dirty trick is going to be Noisy Racket. And we'll head into Stormcast turn 1. So heroic actions, we both failed heroic leadership.
And then we're going to try and cast Blaze of the Heavens with the Knight Arcanum, needing a 7. Nope. And movement has happened, the Gryph-hounds ran, out to the right flank of my army, and everything else is just shuffled forward slightly, so the Praetors and the Lord Imperator have moved a little bit forward. And on the other side, moving to make sure the Vigilors are in range, and the Chariot has gone out wide, but not got too close yet. So, beyond to some shooting, we'll start with the Vigilors, thanks to their special rule, and they're going to shoot at the guns.
And I'm going to order all-out defence with the unit leader.
And I'll issue all-out attack to them with the Lord Imperator, with his 3 rolls per turn 1, because I might as well. So that means we've got 11 shots, 2 each plus 1 for the prime, hitting on 2s. Still managed to roll 3 1s. 8 hits, wounding on 4s because there's a Noisy Racket. That made no difference, we got 6 wounds.
So Minus 1 Ren cancels out all-out defence, so 6 5+ saves. Only 1 save. So that's 2 dead plus 1 wound.
And even though they still got all-out defence, we're going to make use of the +1 to hit on them from, firstly, the Chariot. 2 shots on 2s and 4s. 1 more.
5+ again. Failed. It's 3 dead Gut Rippers just down.
And the Lord Imperator gets 4 shots. Which hit on 2s, yep. And on 4s. 4.
Oof. They got the rhyme in this game. 4 5+ers again. Made 2. So it's another dead Gut Ripper.
That's it for the shooting phase. There'll be no charges because nothing's in range.
Then in the battle shock phase, I'm just going to use Inspiring Presence with the Shaman, I suppose, on the Gut Rippers to stop them running away. So on to Destruction turn 1, both getting a command point. Knight Arcanum succeeded with Heroic Leadership while the Killer Boss failed. I'm also going to use one of my command points to issue Rally to the Gut Rippers. So 4 dead, getting bonds back on 6, I'll get 1 back. Shaman's going to give the Gut Rippers a poison, and then he's going to try and cast Summon Boggy Mist, I think, needing a 6, failing with a 4. So my movement on my left flank, my force is just going to hold position for now, hold objective 3. On my right flank, the Hobgrots are going to run to get in range of the chariot, so I can throw some grenades at it and soften it up, while the Gut Rippers and the Shaman are moving along to take their place by objective 4. And maybe get a tiny bit of cover from that thing, although I don't think they're close enough to actually benefit from it. So I've got the Hobgrots on the right throwing grenades, but I've also got to mention that at the end of the last battleground, the Stormcast got 2 victory points because they hold 2 or more objectives. So I can't see another use for my command points, so I use it to issue all-out attack to the Hobgrots. So 10 grenade throws on 3s. Oof. Well, 3 hits. 3 hits, wounding on 3s. 2 wounds at -1.
Yeah, it's worth saying I couldn't issue all out defence because it's not close enough to a hero. So that does take a wound.
Down to 9. But that's going to be it. I hold 2 objectives, so I get 2 victory points. And we're rolling off about round 2. Well, I've lost the roll.
Yeah, I will definitely go first.
Yeah, this is going to go very badly, I think. So, Stormcast turn 2. So, heroic actions, we both failed heroic leadership again.
And I'll try and cast Blades of the Heavens again, I think. Failing with a 6. So the Griffhounds have moved up towards objective 3. Hopefully going to charge those Hobgrots, the Praetors and Northern Parishant, and the Vigilors maintaining distance around objective 1 for the moment. On the other side, the Chariot moved up to within 3 of the Hobgrots, who then redeployed 3 inches further back. And the Vindictors ran to get in front of objective 2, and the Knight Arcanum also ran to get over so that we can make sure the Chariot is in range of future command abilities. Shooting, we're going to do the Vigilors first again, once again shooting at the Gut Rippers, and once again we'll issue all-out attack to them with the Lord Inheritance 3.
Yeah, and I'll issue all-out defence once again.
So once again, 11 attacks on 2s. 10 hits this time, and winning on 3s. That's still another 6, I think.
6, 5+ saves. 1 save again.
We'll do the Chariot at them as well, again. 2s, yes, and 3s, yes.
5+ saves. Made them both.
And the Lord Inheritance is also in range. He gets 5 shots on 2s, 4 hits on 3s, 2.
5+. Made 1. So just 3 dead Gut Rippers this turn.
Onto the charge phase, we'll start with the Chariot charging. And it rolls a 6, which is what it needs, I think.
Yeah, it should be enough.
So it finishes there, and then we immediately do its charge attack. 6 dice, mortal wounds on 4s.
Oof.
6.
Rolled 6 of them over already. Now, 4 Hobgrots immediately squished.
And then the Griffhounds are going to charge. Their charge roll is a 2, so they will have to spend a command point, which they can issue, the Alpha can issue it to them. Oh, okay, well, that's extremes.
Yeah. So that's definitely a successful charge, so those Hobgrots will unleash hell, and I'll roll that now. Technically it happens after they make their move, but we'll just make the move and then remove any dead rolls. 10 shots on 5s, getting 3, so just as good as the old unit. Woody on 3s, 2, well that will kill a Griffhound.
So the Griffhounds will charge like that, and that is also going to be all of my charges, so I will pick the Griffhounds to fight first. And they might as well issue all attacks to themselves. So 21 attacks hitting on 2s. 18 hits winning on 4s.
So that's 11 wounds, so 11 6+ saves. We made 1, so they're all dead. It does mean that these Hobgrots over here get to strike the Chariot. And then we have 9 attacks from the 4 Hobgrots. Hitting on 4s. 4s, 6s do 2 hits instead. So 5 hits plus a 6 is 6 hits. Wounding on 5s. 4 wounds and no rend.
3+ save. And I'll do all the Chariot's 9 attacks at once because the different rend doesn't matter when they've only got a 6+. And wounding on 3s, yeah.
The Hobgrots are dead. The Gut Rippers need to take a battle test. They lost 3. So they lose 1 more. That will be it for the battle round. At the end of the battle round, the Griffhounds will take control of Objective 3, so the Stormcast will be getting a maximum of 3 victory points, going up to 5. And we didn't show the roll for the Maw, but there were no units online, there's no units on the line again, so we're not going to bother showing it. There's no point rolling, it won't do anything. So, both gaining command point because our generals are alive. Heroic actions, the Knight Arcanum and the Shaman both succeeded with heroic leadership, and the Shaman's going to immediately spend his to rally the Gut Rippers. So there are 7 dead, getting back 2 more, back up to 5, and he will give them a poison as well. Then the Shaman will try and cast Arcane Bolt, getting an 11.
Well, I can unbind on a 12.
Nope. So we're still using the funny version, so we'll do speed D3 mortal wounds to Chariot. 2.
Down to 9.
And so the 2 rallied Gut Rippers come back over here, so maintain control of Objective 4. And over here by Objective 3, the Killer Boss and the Stoggoth are going to move across so that they're nearer the objective, and the Killer Boss will try and charge the Gryph-hounds. So his charge roll is a 7, it's going to be enough to get him in, or him in. So Morlock's got 4 attacks with his Boss Hacker, hitting on 2s because of the Stoggoth. 6s do mortal wounds instead. 3 hits, Stoggoth did help. Wounding on 3s, getting 1, so he'll kill 1. And then 3 attacks from Nearby to Chariot Killer on 3s now, getting a mortal wound and a hit. Wounding on a 4. Wounds, no bend,
So he kills 1.
yeah, as we've learned, that it's a 7 plus anyway.
2 Gryph-hounds down, and the Alpha will just pile in and attack back. And I'll issue all out attacks to the Gryph-hounds from the Alpha, because I'd have my free one from the Lord Imperator to keep them around with Inspiring Presence if I need it.
Yeah, and I'm going to issue all out defense on the Killer Boss.
So that means we have 13 attacks on 2s, 10 hits, wounding on 4s. 4.
4 2 plus saves. Made them all.
And then darting attacks takes them away, and they are wholly within 18 of the Lord Imperator, who can use his free command point to issue Inspiring Presence.
So that's the end of the turn. I've regained Objective 3, so I hold 2 objectives and get 2 victory points, go up to 4. And we're not going to bother rolling for the Maw. We didn't bother in the first battle round because there's no units on the Maw line. Vigilors are on the edge, but it's a very thin Maw apparently. And we're rolling off for battle round 3. Ooh, I want the roll off. I guess I'll go first. On to Disruption turn 3. Heroic actions. Tried to heroic leadership with the Shaman and failed. Knight Arcanum succeeded. I'm going to use one of my command points to rally the Gut Rippers once again. 5 dead. Getting back, none. Yeah, 1 cowardly orcs. And then Shaman's going to try and cast Arcane Bolt again, I think. Getting it with a 5. Yeah, minimum.
Can I unbind it? Oh, I did.
Huzzah! Also, the Gut Rippers will receive a poison, and then they're going to try and charge. No need to move them, so the chariot can't redeploy, and their charge roll is a 6. That'll be enough. Okay, so they'll charge into that. I've also just piled them in, they're going to be my only charge.
Yeah, but I will actually spend a command point for Unleash Hell. I'll just actually use the Knight Arcanum's free one, because I've just got so many. So 2 shots on 4s. Oh, they both missed.
Also, will remind me I forgot about Scare Shield, so I need to roll. I'm going to put it on the chariot because it's going to be attacking them. I believe I get 2 6 plus 1 because there's still 5 members of the unit, and it's bravery 7 or 8. I'll look it up if I roll. Oh, 11's definitely enough, so it's marginal to hit them.
I'll issue all out defense with the chariot. Well, from the Knight Arcanum.
I'm not going to issue all out attack because I'm going to save it for all out defense, and I'm really banking on getting mortal wounds rather than normal hits. So 11 attacks from the Gut Rippers, hitting on 4s, 5s do mortal wounds instead. So yeah, it didn't roll any 3s, so good thing I did use all that attack. It's 5 mortal wounds and 2 ordinary hits that wound on 4s. Getting another one.
With a 2+ save with all out defense, which I made.
So that's just 5 mortal wounds to chariot.
Cannot issue all out attacks to the chariot because it's already received a command ability this phase.
So I am going to use my command points for all out defense on the Gut Rippers.
And then we'll do the axe on 4s because of the air shields. So only 1 hit, which did wound.
5 plus. Nope. 1 damage so far.
And the steeds again on 4s, so that helped quite a bit. And 3s. 2.
-2, so 6s. Oh, you made 1, so just lose 1 Gut Ripper. Do need to make a Battlefront test for them now, though, unfortunately. They lost 1, ooh, so 6, so they lose 2 more. It's a very scary chariot. So cowardly orcs run away. Luckily, I don't lose so many, I actually end up losing the objective, so I still maintain control of it and get 2 victory points. But that'll be the end of the turn. Stormcast turn 3, both tried heroic leadership and failed.
And then we're going to try and do rally on the Gryph-hounds. I'll use the Lord Imperator's free command point again in this case. We get a Gryph-hound back. Spells, we'll try and do Arcane Bolt because we're in range for that now and it's easier to cast. We would have got Blaze of the Heavens instead, but anyway.
Yeah. And trying to bind, an 8, no.
So that'll go on the Gut Rippers. The old version is still D3 mortal wounds. No, I'll reroll that. 2. And then for movement, the Griffhounds have run into the corner, really just to be annoying, so that if the two destruction models there go the other direction, they can sneak in and grab the objective again. The Praetors and the Lord Imperator have moved towards that objective with intent. The Vigilors will stay in the middle, they moved slightly, so they will get in range of basically everything on board. On the far side, the Chariot will actually stay in melee, because I'm hoping to shoot that Gut Ripper Death, and then he can charge the Shaman and do some impact hits. Vindictors have moved up, and the Nova Cannon round. So shooting, I'll do the Chariot first at the last remaining Gut Ripper, because if it does kill it, then I won't need to. I can use the Vigilors to shoot something else. So 3s. Oh, well, both missed, so we will have to shoot the Vigilors at that one model. Well, the Vigilors are actually just going to shoot the Shaman directly, because I think it's a bit of a waste just to shoot one Gut Ripper that won't kill a Chariot. And I suppose we might as well all-out attack from their unit leader. So 2s. 8 hits, running on 3s. 6.
So Shaman's got a 5+ save base, so I need to roll 1/6 for him to live. He does.
Well, the Lord Imperator can try and zap him with some lightning bolts to finish him off. 6. On 2s, because the Vigilors shot at him. 4 hits, which wound only twice.
Just got to make 2 6s. No. Goodbye, Shaman.
So charge phase, we'll do the Praetors charge. 6, I think that should be enough. Well, I did just enough to get them to there, and stay away from the Sloroth. And then the Vindictors will charge the remaining Gut Ripper, just get themselves onto objective 4. I think they're in. Yeah, so that's just enough to swamp the objective. I'll do the Praetors first, and I'll issue all that attack to them from their unit leader.
Yeah, and the killer boss will issue all out defense to himself.
They can all get in range, so we've got 13 attacks hitting on 2s. So 10 hits, wounding on 3s. It's not great, it's only 5.
So, only minus 1 rend, cancelled out by all out defense, so we have 5 3+ saves. Made 4 of them, 2 damage, down to 4. Now the last remaining Gut Ripper is going to try and kill a Vindictor. He's still got a poison, so 3 attacks on 4s, fires do more wounds instead. Just 1 hit. Don't think he's in range of the Sloroth. He did wound though.
What? Made a save.
Well, he was in range of the Sloroth, so he got another wound.
Which was also saved.
Wow.
I'll do the Vindictors, they'll just see if they can finish off the guy with mortal wounds. Yeah, that's 2.
I've just got Morlek and Kneebiter left. 4 attacks from Morlek on 2, 6s do mortal wounds. 1 hit. He wounded. -1.
Did 2 damage there?
Can Kneebiter kill one? He gets 3 hits. Wounding on 4s. 2 wounds.
What? Yeah, you finished it off.
Yay! So, Kneebiter does kill a Praetor, so I do technically gain control of Objective 3, but the Stormcast gain control of Objective 4, get another few victory points. And I think this game is well and truly decided now. It's definitely going to be a Stormcast victory, so we'll recap that for you now. So that was game for issue 31 of Warhammer Age of Sigmar Stormbringer magazine. How do you think that went?
Well, much better than the previous episode's game went. This is perhaps how that game should have gone if I made any of my charges or cast any of my spells or anything like that. Although having said that, I think in this game I had the same army with an extra unit and you had the same army minus a unit, and you also lost all your ranged firepower compared to the previous game. So the balance did sort of switch rather in my favour, I felt, in terms of the actual units we had.
Yeah, and that's how I expected the previous game to go.
Yeah. And the Chariot rolled amazingly for its impact hits. My shooting was really good. The Griffhounds did really well. So yeah, it was just kind of the complete opposite of the previous game in most respects. I still sort of tried to treat your army with respect in the sense that I was aware at one point that yes, I had killed a load of Hobgrots, but that was not actually any of your dangerous stuff.
And whittling down all the Gut Rippers is probably the way to go.
Well, I directed all my shooting at the Gut Rippers for precisely that reason. I knew that I could charge the Hobgrots and they would disappear, especially with the Chariot. Whereas the Gut Rippers were the thing that I wanted to do damage to early. Yeah, I was more worried about killing your big units to make sure I could take objectives and worry about characters and the slog off later. Yeah,
that's the thing really, is you have the advantage in numbers, but they're not very durable, so once you whittle them down, as dangerous as the slog off and the characters can be, they were never going to kill all of your Stormcast in time to win the game for me.
Yeah, and I had both the speed advantage and the range advantage in this game as well, so you were always going to have to basically come to me and I could probably still go around the flanks with the faster units. And
probably should have dished out potions with the Shaman and done stacked all out defense so I get a better save, but I think I misplayed in that respect. Yeah, I don't think there's too much to actually say about the game. Pretty much just got steamrolled.
The only thing that was different about it was there was the Maw thing, but that was kind of irrelevant, really, as long as you were careful not to fight or have models standing on it.
Yeah, also the fact that the objectives are all miles away from it. I suppose you could try and use it to your advantage, but...
It wasn't the type of game or those kind of armies that would have really come into effect anyway.
Kind of oddly, I don't think there's actually too much to say about the new Vigilors. I like their models well enough. Also, this is obviously a very good value for money. They come in a box of 10 for £40 or something. So again, you're getting, if you've got 2 copies of the issue, you get the full unit for half the price. Fortunately, I think the issue with them is they don't really stand out. There are several other Stormcast units that are shooting units. There's another one of those shooting units also occupies the same sort of scout-like infantry role that they do. Fortunately, and they only have their +1 to hit special rule, which again other units can give. So unfortunately, I think they feel a bit generic, I guess.
Oh, I don't know. I'm quite happy to have a ranged unit, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, in this collection, I think they're good. I would say they're probably my favourite of all the Stormcast shooting units. I think they are just Judicators that look better. I would probably actually, if you really wanted to, buy these and use them as Judicators, because the models are that much better. And yeah, when I say they occupy a similar role, I'm talking about the entire Stormcast range. In this collection, they do fit a dedicated shooting unit role that you haven't had at this point.
Yeah, and their shooting is actually quite good. 2 shots each with Ren -1, and then obviously the possibility of making other things better. We didn't see the benefits used against something in melee, but that also comes into effect if you shoot something and then charge it. The thing they were always wanting to shoot was never the thing I was wanting to charge, but I'm sure that will come into effect.
I imagine in larger games or against certain of the factions, they'll probably fit into more of a support role. Their damage output's probably not as high as some of the other shooting units available to the Stormcast.
The thing that could be said about them, if we're talking about the wider Stormcast army, is they're cheaper than Judicators with less firepower, but they are better in melee and they have a faster move. So they're kind of a hybrid unit, I would say.
I guess they're better at shooting than Vanguard Hunters, but not as manoeuvrable, and they're better in melee than Castigators, but more expensive. They're sort of in the middle of everything.
Yeah, and actually I do like the fact that they're good in melee. They're as good as a unit of Vindictors in melee, pretty much. Yeah. Or no, they're nearly as good as a unit of Vindictors in melee, so that might well come in handy. Because if you saw any of our Mortal Realms videos, often the problem for the Stormcast range units was they were terrible in melee. Whereas these are actually these are reasonably good.
I sort of think you'll put them, they will do fine, but they're not going to be spectacular, I think.
Yeah. I would say they are a hybrid ranged unit that in this collection are actually going to fulfill mostly just the role of a ranged unit, because I don't get any other ones.
But you can put them in your front line, and I reckon they'll do fine as well.
And normally they would come in a box of 10, so as we said, they are a very good value for money to get them this way. But the sprue they give you with this one seems to be the worst poses.
No, the poses it's 2 sprues with the same poses. It's just the build guide. I wouldn't say I followed the build guide, and I wouldn't say those are my favourite poses. There is one with a guy shooting an arrow. I would pick that one, but I wanted to follow the build guide for consistency with the magazine. And it is quite a good kit. You will get a lot of spare parts, spare bows and things, and lots of spare sword hilts, because you have the option of having the sword drawn or sheathed. So I guess there's lots of extra basing materials and conversion things as well. And it is probably worth getting another issue, just to have 10 of them. But yeah, other than that, don't think there's too much more to say. No core rules to talk about anything. So if you like this content, do leave a like and subscribe. If you've been playing the games, tell us who you've been getting on and what you think of the Vigilors. We've been the Tabletop Donkeys, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye for now.